Welcome back. Imagine being a member of a high school band and being selected to perform a concert with the U.S. Marine Band, a band that began over 200 years ago and that our third president, Thomas Jefferson, called the president's own. What an honor, right? Well, it was supposed to happen in May, but because of President Trump's executive order ending DEI programming, the student musicians were told they would not be playing. The concert was canceled, and then it became something even bigger. The charity Equity Arc contacted retired military band members and brought them together for a performance that you might have seen last Sunday on 60 Minutes.
I challenge anyone, literally anyone, to come to me and say, by having this concert does damage to the United States. It doesn't. It brings out the best of us.
You were not meant to be here today. This ensemble was not meant to be heard. And I wonder what this moment on this stage means to your heart.
You see that woman there to the right of your screen, clearly moved by what's being said in response to that question from Scott Pelley. Well, that woman is Bonnie Denton. She was asked if she would make that trip to Washington, D.C. to make this all happen for these kids, and she did. Bonnie is from southeastern Connecticut. She played with the United States military band at West Point and is retired from the U.S. Coast Guard band. Bonnie, welcome to CT25.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
The piece, I hope you saw the piece on 60 Minutes. I watched it last week before I even knew that we were talking to you. And it's moving anytime you see musicians of different generations coming together to make beautiful music. But what was it like being part of this group?
It was very joyful for me. Anytime that I get to make music in community, it's a very joyful experience. And this was very, very moving, I think, for all of us on stage. At the end of the performance, I realized that I had neglected to bring tissues with me, and I was a little sorry, and I was surprised at how moved I was. How meaningful the performance was to those students was very clear. On their faces, in their voices, how appreciative they were that they got the opportunity that they thought they were going to get, and then it was taken away.
I know I don't want to get into the politics, and I know you don't either, but a lot of people will say, these DEI programs, President Trump was very clear on the campaign trail. He wanted to end it. But is there a message here about sometimes that there's the real people who were caught up in it? Did you get a feel from the students? I mean, they didn't care about whether it's DEI or something else. They just wanted to come out there and experience their music. So is part of the message here that these were real human beings that kind of got caught in the crosshairs by accident?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think just like any of us, we want to be seen. We want to be valued. We want to share our passions with each other, and that's what music is about. It's about making music together on stage between the musicians and communicating between the performers and communicating with the audience. I think these young people were very clear about, we just want to make music, and we don't want anything to stand in the way of us getting to make music and to share our passion.
I'm paraphrasing here, but I think Scott Pelley said something along the lines of the music was never supposed to be heard, but for 60 Minutes putting all this together. We heard that performance, and the music was fabulous. And I know you were there, playing the euphonium, right? That's your instrument? And
correct. Yes.
So you were there, and bravo to you and to those young musicians for making such beautiful music. But can you take us a little bit behind the scenes? What was the actual process like? I know you had, a day of rehearsal, and then you put on that performance. Like, give us the logistics. How did it actually work once you got involved?
Sure. I got involved about a week before. So I started, the text started flying on March 1st. I think it was Saturday. It was an easy yes. Yes, this is going to happen in a week from now. And I said, I'll be there, whatever it takes to get there. I drove down to DC on Friday. And then on Saturday, we rehearsed for a couple of hours in the morning, maybe just about an hour, and then we broke up into some sectional sectional rehearsals, so that was just a little more close in. And as soon as we all got together, we were talking with the students and just enjoying being together. So yeah, some rehearsal time, some sectional time, and then we all had lunch together. Which was really lovely because that just made more time for conversation, more chances for the students to ask questions. What was your career like? There were all sorts of questions. How did you get there? And many of the professional musicians shared their stories of why it was important for them to be there, because someone in their lives had taken an interest in their development as a musician, and had changed their path. And so that was lunchtime on Saturday. And then we had more rehearsal Saturday afternoon. And then I know the kids all got to go to a Baltimore Symphony Orchestra concert. And then Sunday, we had a short rehearsal in the morning, another meal and time to share stories and be together. And then we ran the concert. And we did pretty much as the video reflects. We ran it straight through.
Well, let's take a look. We have a clip of some of that concert. Bonnie set it up perfectly. Let's look. As you were performing there, Bonnie, did you get to the end and say, "We did it"?
Mm-hmm. There was that, and I think one of my thoughts was, good, lots of people will see this now.
And obviously that's important because of these kids, but is it also important just as a musician and as someone, you talked about that connection through music, just spreading the gospel of music is probably just as important as the message related to the canceled concert, right?
Yes, and I think they can both be there at the same time. It's my personal standpoint, as an artist, as a musician, art, no matter what form, reflects our humanity, right? It shows us just how much we're capable of caring. It can communicate joys and sorrows. And so, yeah, it speaks sometimes where words can't. And it's a lovely way to be in community.
Well, as I said early on in this interview, I had no idea I was going to be talking to you, but I saw the 60 Minutes piece on Sunday, and I gasped at how beautiful the piece was. You did a wonderful job in all those rehearsals and getting those kids on board with all of it, and we so appreciate you letting us look behind the curtain a little bit here this morning. Bonnie Denton, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.